Yeah, no, just start over.
Okay. Hi, Justin. I want to start by saying how much I appreciated working with you throughout our time together. Today's session is going to be a little bit different. We're going to start talking about wrapping up our work and preparing for your next steps. How are you feeling as we begin that process?
Well, honestly, it's a little bittersweet. I feel like I've come a long way, but there's just still stuff that I'm working through. So I guess I'm just a little nervous about not having this space every week.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Termination can bring up a lot of feelings, especially after you've done so much work. I want to honor that and also take time to reflect on all the progress you've made. Do you remember where you were emotionally when we started our sessions?
Um, yeah, I mean, I was a bit overwhelmed, between work, home, everything from my past just creeping in. I felt like I couldn't keep my head above water. My anxiety was through the roof, and I was having trouble sleeping, focusing at work.
Right, I remember that. You were carrying so much, and now I've noticed a real shift. You've been using grounding techniques, journaling when things feel too heavy, and even setting more boundaries at work and at home. How do you feel, or how does it feel to look back on that?
I mean, it feels amazing. I didn't think that I could set boundaries, especially at work.
Hmm.
Um, I always felt like I had to say yes or everything would fall apart. But now I'm more intentional. I pause and I ask myself what I need, not just what everyone else needs.
And that is such important insight. You've moved from feeling reactive and overwhelmed to making space for your needs, and that takes a lot of strength. Your ability to reflect and apply tools outside of sessions is a big part of your growth.
Thank you. I still struggle with guilt sometimes, like when I take time for myself or when I don't check in with, like my mom more often. But our relationship is complicated, so
Yeah, I hear that. Guilt can linger, especially when old patterns are being challenged. But we've also talked about how you're not responsible for fixing everything, just for honoring your limits and living in alignment with your values. That work doesn't stop here, but you've laid a strong foundation.
I mean that's helpful to hear. I certainly don't feel done by any means, but I do feel more grounded. Um, I've been able to better handle and manage stress before it builds up too much.
And that's a great way to describe it. Therapy isn't about being done, it's about building tools and self awareness that continue to support you. Before we close, I'd like to review the goals that we initially set, which were maintaining anxiety, improving work life balance, and increasing self care and self compassion. How do you feel you've progressed in each of these?
Uh, I mean, for anxiety, I'd say I'm managing it better. Um, I'm not spiraling like I used to. I have improved with my balance too. I actually scheduled 2 days off this month without having much guilt. Self care, I'm still working on that, but I have been journaling and I'm going for walks more regularly.
That sounds like real progress. You've made tangible changes in your habits and in how you respond to stress, and you're being honest about where growth is still happening, which is a part of the process too. Have you thought about how you want to maintain this momentum after we end our session?
Um, I mean, I've thought about like checking in with a support group, um, you know, maybe therapy occasionally, just to kind of stay on track. I want to keep the journaling going and maybe even get like into a good routine with that.
I think that's a great plan. Having ongoing support, whether through community, friends, or a new therapist, can keep you connected to the work you've started. I can also provide referrals that'll help you set up a new continuing of care plan if you'd like.
Yeah, I would appreciate that. A list of therapists, some resources I can reach out to if I need to. That would be great.
Absolutely. I'll make sure you leave here with that. Before we end today, I want to say your willingness to show up, reflect, and challenge old patterns has been inspiring. You've done hard work, and I hope you feel proud of yourself.
Thanks, Barry. I really do. I appreciate that, and I appreciate you for you helping me get to this place. I feel like I have a much clearer path moving forward.
I'm so glad to hear that. Today, I really want to celebrate your progress. Thank you for letting me walk alongside you in this part of your journey, and I hope you take care.
Thanks. You too.